So this is a little shocking to me. The food critic, chef guy, Joshua Weissman here, gave Marco's Pizza an S tier rating in the fast food pizza tier list, I suppose.
Crust to cheese to sauce ratio.
The cheese is beautifully browned and burnished.
No one gets it that dark on the cheese.
Yeah.
They care.
The pepperonis are crisp. 2 kinds of pepperoni. I'm kind of hype about this pizza. You want me to feed this to you?
Damn. 2 types of pepperoni is where it's at. You got the slightly chewy flat pepperoni and then the crispy cup pepperoni. You need that. Try that crust. She's light. You're so crisp.
You see what I mean though? This is like the type of chew I prefer. This is like there's resistance, but it melts like a nice steak. Crisp bottom, the dough feels good, but the sauce isn't overly sweet. It's seasoned nicely. It's not like got tons of oregano in there. It's nice and balanced. The cheese flavor is nice. The cheese texture is nice. The pepperonis taste perfect. Papa John's wishes that they could do this.
I've never had a QSR pizza that hit me like this sober. It's an S tier pizza.
That is an S tier pizza. Unreal.
I might have a little bit of a bias, but I would rather knock it down from S to A because no fast food pizza is a S tier. I'm sorry, like it is what it is. Little Caesars definitely deserves to be where it's at. Obviously for $5, you're not getting much, right? You're getting literal cardboard with marinara sauce, fake goat cum cheese, pepperoni sliced off of dog nipples, and there you go. You got Little Caesars pizza pepperoni. Very terrible pizza. It deserves its F tier rating. Now, I mentioned having a bias with Marco's Pizza. Well, I unfortunately used to be an employee of the Marco's Pizza. I'm not going to explain my time over there. Let's just say that I was a manager and I quit after about, I think, almost 2 years working there. And I have never been happier since. I'm only happy because I'm out of the army too, so, but regardless, I'm gonna give you one of the secrets as to why Marco's is even rated that high on their tier list. They got only cheese and pepperoni with old world pepperoni, which kind of slanted or skewed the ratings a little bit. Because if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? Those little pepperonis are coming up like that. We call those old world pepperonis, and they slap. The pepperoni they got at Marco's, it's okay. The old world pepperoni with that crunch got me sending to the 7 C's. If I remember correctly, old world pepperoni for toppings, like if you were to just get a normal pepperoni pizza. So if I remember the prices, a large pepperoni back in 2018 when I was working there was $11.99. If you had gotten just a pepperoni, right, with more pepperoni, that's double pepperoni, that's $12.99. However, if you had gotten just regular pepperoni on top of old world pepperoni, I believe it would have been like $13.49. So it was $1.50. Cost a little more, like 50 cents more, but they were a pretty good addition. Now, granted, when I was working there, when we made our pizzas behind the franchisees' back, giving it out for free. Now, keep in mind, I was using dough that was already gonna, not be used because it was crusting up and everything else. Editor's note, I wanted to mention the crusty dough that we gave to customers, and of course, we ate ourselves. And the reason why I would get crusty is because the days are kind of random. So we would prepare for a really busy day. And so we would have like 3 rows of pizza racks. I think they each hold like 10 or 12. We would have like maybe 1 on standby and then the rest still proofing in the proofer. So those doughs that are in that line rack, sometimes they would just not get used for 45 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours even. And while it's still edible, they're already pre-made into the screen. And sometimes people won't come in for an extra large. So we'll just have an extra large screen just crusting up and we'll either take it for our consumption or upgrade someone else's pizza, right? So if someone ordered a large pepperoni, we'll just give them the extra large pepperoni. Okay, but there you go. It is what it is. It's a little kind gesture. That's why the whole free thing that I mentioned was just upgrading their stuff to that because we don't want to waste dough. Or again, I would just give them a free pizza on top of the pizza that they already got. And of course, feeding my fellow coworkers and my big ass. I wanted to bring it up because I added his portion of the video and he mentioned it being like soft, kind of fluffy or whatever. The crusty dough isn't like that. It's just very crunchy. If you like that on a pizza, cool. We haven't had that many complaints. I don't mind it, but fresh dough is obviously better. What I also noticed is And he probably went in when it wasn't like really busy, so you didn't have people like scrambling to get like as much dough out of there, because what will happen too is the dough hasn't done its 20 to 30 minute proofing job yet, so that way it kind of like it inflates and becomes more malleable. So it's just like really kind of stiff, malleable dough. Throw the cornmeal, throw into the like whatever a couple times, and then it's just hard to like do that where you see that one guy from the Papa John's guy just he's had dough that's been, you know, in the proofer for 20 to 30 minutes, so it's easy to be malleable, but ours is, we're rushing. And what we would do is we would get this thing called a pizza screener to which is exactly what this guy does. It prevents the little bubbles that pops up. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it looks like right there. I kind of wish I had photos of it, but like we have had big bubbles to the point where it got into the top of the oven or whatever, like in the inside, and it caused like a little fire. So yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me. You know, when I was laying my mouth in the fucking Marco's Pizza cock, I bought us a pizza screener, even though the franchisee had plenty of money to fucking do it himself. Regardless, I just wanted to add that as an editor's note. I would use old world pepperoni, and sometimes I would do like the veggie stuff like bell peppers, spinach, tomato, feta cheese. Honestly, veggie pizzas are kind of but if you put feta, solid. Oh, and if you change the sauce to garlic sauce or Alfredo sauce, that's bussin'. I digress. Another reason why they're also an S tier rating is because we actually, why am I saying we as if I still work there? They actually make their own dough. When I was working there, if I remember the process correctly, because it's been almost 6 years at this point, the buckets that we had for marinara sauce, once we cleaned it out, we dumped the water in there because it was the exact measurements to make 3 batches of dough, to basically throw it in the big mixer bowl and then throw in the flour afterwards. Then we would start spinning it up, and then as it was, you know, becoming more dough-like, then we started throwing the oil so that way it doesn't stick too much to the big mixer blade thing, whatever the you want to call it. And then, you know, once it's done, it gets taken down. You kind of jork it a little bit, you know, just to get all the, you just kind of take all that dough out, so that way you don't have to clean it too much at the end of the day, because we still have to clean it, scrub it down like a muff. Very annoying. And then we of course had our little steel table that we just plop the dough on, and then we'd make like 3 batches of like larges, and then we'd continue to do that. Oh boy, yeah. I could even tell you too, when Hurricane came through and wrecked everything, the franchisee called me in to help him out. I should have not taken that, but regardless, you get a little 20-cent increase in your $8 an hour. Splendid. I remember making a ton of pizzas with him, his sister, and you know, everybody in his family. I was the only worker that wasn't blood related to him to actually come in and work. And then I remember getting back home at like 3 in the morning because we had ran out of dough. We had to kick customers out because we didn't have any dough. We made dough. Regardless, there's a lot of I want to get into when it comes to Marco's. I just don't like talking about it though. I went on a long tangent, but I will say Marco's is a pretty good pizza. It's just not S tier. I don't think any fast food pizza is S tier. Because I mean, when I worked at Pizza Hut before working at Marco's, they'd get a shipment of dough. And here's the thing, you don't make the dough. It's pre-packaged in plastic bullshit in little discs, and you put them in the freezer. And when it's time to make those pizzas, you get a little bullshit pizza screen. You spray a little bit of oil on it, throw it in the proofer, and then the guy in the make line takes it out, does whatever he needs to do, throws it in the oven, and he comes out with a pizza. That's what I remember working at Pizza Hut, which to be honest, I only worked there for about 3 months and dipped. I just found it funny that Joshua Weissman, the guy who, you can build this dildo sandwich for 50 cents with these ingredients, and it just comes out to like $300 in the grocery bill, gave Marco's Pizza an S tier. And I'm just saying, what really elevated that rating was because they got the old world pepperoni, because that does slap. It did help the rating tremendously, because I'm telling you, that's nostalgic. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my little rambling about Marco's Pizza, what rating it truly deserves in the fast food pizza tier list. Domino's is mid, Pizza Hut's mid, Papa John's kind of sucks, Marco's is pretty good, Little Caesars is garbage. That's all I got. Y'all stay safe, and as always, deuces.